Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is Do Brand You. It's all about you. It's about you unleashing your potential in every season of life and navigating to your true north using your gifts and talents. Today is Friday Chat Day, and on Friday Chat Days, I just go behind the scenes and share my lifestyle, my business, and how I'm able to navigate to my true north and unleash my potential and share strategies and tips and ideas and thoughts with you so that it can help you out along the way as well. So today I am really looking forward to sharing this with you. It's something that a lot of people ask me about, and that is how do I weave my travel into my lifestyle and also my business, and so that I can kind of seamlessly kind of relocate to anywhere and still do my business and still live the lifestyle that I want to live. You know, travel to me is something that I've been able to do a lot of my life, and now that I'm living here full time in New Zealand, I still like to get away. It takes a little bit longer. There's longer flights to get closer to Europe or up into Asia. And New Zealand's tucked around underneath the, way down here in the Southern Hemisphere. But I do like to get away. So it's usually planning at least 3 or 4 weeks at a time to do those international trips. So I wanted to share with you today how that has worked, how that's come about, and help you out if you're thinking about, how would you like to integrate travel and things like that. And it doesn't have to be international travel. So even though I'm going to kind of focus on the travel aspect, anything I say today would relate to you if you are wanting to create a lifestyle and a business around having a life that you want. And so, let's start off with the first thing that I would like to share with you, and that is the first, recommendation is start by designing your year. When you plan your year, when you think about what is my plan for my business for my year, or what is the plan for, what does my lifestyle look like in the next year? Plan it around incorporating the lifestyle that you want to live. So for me, it's going to be travel in this video. That's what I'm going to be sharing with you because I love to travel. For you, it might be how during different seasons you want to have, maybe more flexibility. Maybe like in the summer, maybe you don't want to work as much, or you want to work a 3-day week or a 4-day week, so you have longer days off. Or maybe, you want to, in winter, be able to really work on, kind of longer projects and things like that. So you're going to really incorporate whatever your lifestyle is and what you want. It starts with, what do you want? What kind of life do you want to live? So I plan my year with this flexibility in mind. And I think about when I want to do a lot of content creation. I create courses, coaching programs, and I map out my schedule so that over the year, I know okay, during March is going to be a big content creation month. I don't have to be at my home. I can be anywhere. So that can become a month that I'm going to just relocate and I'm going to go somewhere else. So, and then, you can plan intentionally by looking at that whole year where you can fit in those things. So that is my first recommendation into, kind of really weaving your lifestyle into your business, into the lifestyle that you want, and make sure you know what you want, and make sure you dream big. You can have what you want. You got to dream big for that. So the second thing I would say, because I've had a lot of people ask me, how can you just go on so many trips? How come you're always on holiday? What are you doing? How does this work? Well, I started small. So I didn't start with, really big trips. I started with smaller trips. I started with, what I call is traveling locally. And local getaways. And I did that for, I've done that for a few years where I would book every second month. I'd look at my year, and every second month I would choose the best time during those 2 months that I could, go away for 4 to 5 days. And I would block that into my lifestyle, my business calendar. Those were 5 days. And those were business working days. That wasn't just traveling. Yes, I was going to be somewhere else. Yes, I wasn't going to be in my home office. But I was going to be able to just, block those 5 days off. And that was when I really did my reflection, and I did some content creation that I was doing, or I had a project that I was working on, and I traveled locally. I live here in the South Island in New Zealand. I just book into an Airbnb, and I wouldn't go with anybody. I would go by myself. Now, the next video that I do is going to be related to this, and I want to talk about, because I get asked a lot from a lot of people, how do you travel by yourself? I mean, how do you feel about just going off on your own? That whole mindset of traveling for business and going and working elsewhere. But I mean, my gosh, I would go on a short trip, book in a place by a lake, get up in the morning, I'd take my bike, go for a really nice bike ride, come back, and then really get stuck into, because I don't have all the distractions that I have at home, and I don't have people distracting me either. And I always shut off my phone and things like that. So there's a lot of science that will, the science research on how we can maximize our productivity and how we can be successful. It talks about how good it is if we can get away from our normal environment and move and just position ourselves somewhere else. And again, this can just be traveling locally. And sometimes it was just a couple hours down the road. You pay to stay somewhere, but I incorporate that into my business expenses because I'm working when I travel. And then the petrol that I have to pay, or the gas that I have to pay to get to there, it's a business expense. So what does science tell us about this? It tells us that when we do this, it boosts our creativity. And I can tell you it certainly does. Because when you step away from your daily routine, your brain begins to make new connections. These new connections bring fresh ideas. Hiking, biking, going to a new coffee shop, just walking around, just noticing people, being in the moment in a different place, completely involves a lot more creativity. And the second thing is that by relocating, you can reset. So a change of scenery, whether it's a weekend in a nearby town or just working from a different spot, you can help to reflect, to gain perspective, and to make better decisions, because you're kind of making a reset. You don't get stuck in that rut. And the third one is that it improves your productivity when you return. Every time I go away and then I come back, and this happens, and studies show us that people who take breaks, even short ones, are more productive than those who keep pushing and pushing without pausing. So those breaks are good, and you need to kind of welcome them and weave them into the way that you live and the way that you work. I know that I was coaching with somebody, and they didn't have their own business. They work for somebody else, but they purposely did these local trips. And what they did is, they have so many vacation days or holiday days that they get every year. And so they would just take, like if there was a 3-day weekend, they would just go ahead and take an extra day or two as their holiday vacation plan days. And they would create and they would go away. So it doesn't matter if you work for somebody else, you still can be in the driver's seat of how you want to live and the lifestyle that you want to have. And I found that by taking these mini breaks, I was actually seriously working better. I came back, I was renewed, I felt better about it. It was just fantastic. So the third thing I want to point I wanted to kind of make with this, and this has come, these points I'm sharing with you are things that have come up in conversation that I've had with other people about this. And so the third one is to make it as easy as possible, so that when you are working from home or you have your job and then you have these periods of time, there's going to be more than one. It's not like you're going on one holiday a year. You go and you make this transition as easy as possible. It's really important that you're not spending a whole week trying to prepare for this trip or do all of that. And that takes time. It's taken me time to really kind of get the way I schedule my accommodation. I use Holofly when I travel internationally. I use Holofly. Now, trying to figure out which one was the best. Holofly is like so that you can have, like unlimited data, and you only pay. So when you use Holofly, you go to another country, you scan your QR code that you've been given because you've signed up for this, or you've put the dates that you're traveling in, and then you use the local network for that, and it's great. Anyway, so things like that. So you're going to have to find ways that are going to make it easy for you. So one thing that really helped me a lot was removing any friction from the process. I've talked about it before on the channel that when we as humans need to make choices, that makes things really difficult. So when we can be in a position where we don't have to make choices, then we can have a more seamless, less friction process. So, for example, I've always had for a long time, and then when I came back to New Zealand, I got it all set up. I have my travel bag, and it has everything in it. And when I get back, I just stock it back up before I put it away. And in that travel bag, I have, things like my toothbrush and my shampoo, my, chargers, anything that I would need that I would have to have. And so I'm not unplugging all my chargers. Okay, so you got to pay a little bit. So who cares? You don't have to pull all your chargers out from your home office and then stick them in a bag. And when you get back, you got to put it all back. Why do that? That doesn't make sense to me. Have all of that in a bag. I love having my morning coffee. And so, I have my little plunger, and I go and get my coffee, and I go and buy local beans. When I arrive, I go and buy, not beans. I don't have a grinder for my coffee beans, so I get the grounds, and I just, I'll go to local ones or a shop that's got, the coffee beans. And so when I wake up in the morning, I have a routine where I'm doing my reflections, I'm drinking my coffee, I'm preparing for my day, that type of thing. That is just do the same thing. And so, have all of that stuff ready to go, and then you can just take it with you. All right. So another one would be the kind of a fourth thing that I thought of to share with you would be try to figure out ahead of time with your business how you can create that business that's going to work really, really well when you go away. So for me, my business involves coaching, running online community, creating content. So I plan my time around my commitments. I communicate with my clients and my community. I'm very happy to say, I'm not available for these 2 weeks or whatever. And there are times when I've been traveling, and I have my online community has regular meetings, and I wasn't sure whether my internet connection would be that great. So I put somebody else in charge. I ask another member, hey, and then, give him the Zoom link so he can open up the room and do all of that. I batch content before I leave and get all of that. So the stuff that needs to run, I have that. But I also, just like creating that travel bag, I create my to-do list of the things that I need to do. So the things that I need to have done before I go. And it's just a checklist. I have it on my things 3, go through the checklist, boom, I'm done. Not thinking, not causing friction. So the process becomes really easy. So the fifth one I wanted to share with you is that to create this lifestyle where you can just travel and you can work, or you can prioritize travel as part of who you are and what you do, or whatever, again, whatever matters to you, whether you want, whatever that is. I'm going to focus on travel here in this video, and, I've asked, so like one of the things I get is, because I prioritize travel, I can do it. And there are some people that, they're like, oh my gosh, how can you afford to travel so much? And traveling locally, I was able to do that on a pretty good budget. It didn't cost that much to travel locally. And I did some amazing things. Honestly, I don't think we take advantage of traveling locally enough. And the thing is everybody has priorities. And the fact is, I prioritize travel. I love to travel, so that's what I want to do. But some people like to invest in their home renovations, or other people like to have new cars and new clothes, and they choose to use the money for those things. That's not a problem. But if you do want to have travel, then you need to prioritize it, and maybe you need to give up some of the other things. I don't think of travel as a vacation or a holiday. I have incorporated the travel that I do with my business as part of my business. And so it's a business, I'm able to, it's a business expense. It's worked into what I do. And I really encourage you to do that. So, those were the 5 things I just thought I wanted to share with you. I would love to hear if any of you have want to travel and have a business, that's something you want to do. If there's anything I mentioned here in this video that you hadn't thought about, or if you have other ideas, would love to just put a comment below if you'd like in the video. So I'll just go over the last 5 things and then tell you a little bit more about what I'm going to talk about next week, which is related to this week. So the first one is always start by designing your year around your lifestyle goals. Create and dream big about the kind of year that you want. Do brand you. It's all about unleashing your potential in every season of life. What is your best springtime going to be? What's your best summer going to be? What's your best autumn going to be? Fall going to be? What is your best winter? How do you want to live that? What kind of life do you want to live? And design it that way. Create it that way. Be innovative. Dream big. Number 2, start small. Just start small and just go away for a few days and then come back and try to really work towards a seamless process that's without any kind of friction. And that goes into the third point, is to make it as easy as possible. Remove any friction that you can. And also number 4, set up your business to work for you. Try to figure out how you can capture moments during the year that you can grab for yourself, and you can do that. And then communicate that with your clients. Don't be afraid of saying you're not available for sometimes. Perfectly fine. And then the last one is to prioritize travel, or whatever means to you. Prioritize it. It's important. It's you. When you unleash your potential, you're living your best life. And that means you're living the life that you want to live. And if you do that, you're going to just add more value. You're going to have a better life. You're going to add more value to the people around you through your business or the work that you do. So I would really encourage you to do those things. So what's next? What's coming up? I've had a lot of people ask me that when I travel alone. And it's because it's not a holiday as such. It's just me relocating to somewhere else. So people are like, oh, you're going on a holiday again. No, I'm not going on a holiday. I'm just going to be living in Thailand for a month, and then I'll be back. And I'm going to go there. I'm going to do certain things. When I get a couple hours off, I'll go take a tour. I'll do this and that. So I'm going to talk about what it's like to travel, about traveling solo, and why I do it, how I make that work. I'll share with you how, yeah, it's normal to feel uncomfortable if you've never been a solo traveler. And if you've never been and you're kind of thinking about it, I've definitely had a lot of people have told me, oh my gosh, I could never travel by myself. I could never do that. So I'll share with you some tips and tricks, and I'd love to hear from you about how that all works as well. And if you have any questions about traveling solo, you can pop those down there too. Thank you for coming and spending a little bit of time with me. This is a Friday chat. And I always look forward to Fridays, actually, to share this with you. So I do have a link below for you to grab the Do Connect newsletter. It's where I share a lot more about what's going on in the community. I don't send it out a lot. And support and inspiration for you. Also, any things that are coming up, events or courses, I always give discounts. So, yeah. Have a great day. Have a great week ahead, and I'll see you next week.